time is now. NUFC Early Night News with Gary the Geordie Yum Yum, Andrew Boaky, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 7:30 p.m. UK, 1:30 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. He got it right. Did you hear that? He got it right now. It's 7:30. Yeah, the new time has been corrected across all platforms. Welcome, one and all, to myself, the Geordie Yam Yam, hosting tonight again, and the Mighty Win in the middle, and we've got Boaky. It is Cody over on the outside there. Confused me a little bit, mate, when you come in as Tim. When it signed in, it sounded like it was Tim coming back in. I'm thinking the twins have just finished. They can't have enough. They're away with the mixer.
The normal link for some reason, so I've had to come in over your guys' link. So
that's not a problem, mate. You're welcome on board. I hope you guys are fine, and I hope everybody that's with us in the chat are also fine this Tuesday evening. The countdown, I suppose, has begun for the weekend.
Toon Assassin, hit the likes. Don't be a mackem.
Kenny W. You're on more than EastEnders. Yeah, it feels like we're doing some rehearsals, mate, to be fair. Let's do the housework and then we'll crack on with the show. Welcome to everybody across all the platforms. Thanks to everybody that works in the background. Don't forget, people out there in viewerland, smash that like button for us. It certainly helps us get further as a channel. Subscribe, totally free. Smash the bell for future content. You'll get that 30 minutes warning, if you like, when we go live. Never edited, always live. If you want to support us, you can become a member if you can afford to do so. It's that time of year. It's pantomime season, and it certainly looks...
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. And it certainly looks like we've been watching a pantomime over the last few weeks. So hopefully we can change that all around.
We've been watching a Shakespeare tragedy.
It's behind you. I'm the bullies. Anyway.
It's in the net.
It's in the net, yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it feels. So, yeah, if you can afford to, that'll be great. It'll be the best Christmas present we could all have. If we can get up to 9K subscribers, that will also be a great Christmas present. If you've got a question for anyone in the panel, then put a Q in front of that question. But it ain't guaranteed to be mentioned. So if you do want to guarantee it, throw that super chat our way, use the $sign, follow the instructions, blah-de-blah-de-blah. All members that become a member during the show, and any of our lovely members that gift them out there will also be thanked as we go along. So, gentlemen, it's been the under-21s, England tonight, and we've won. Unfortunately, I was watching that rather than the twins, which is naughty of me.
Well, I started till the twins started, but prior to that, I'd been watching the under-17s.
Well, they got a bit of a tattering, didn't they?
They did in the last, so they are out of the World Cup now. The under-17s got beat 4-0 off Austria in Qatar.
Austria.
So I don't know.
And to be fair, Austria played well. Yeah, Austria played well. To be fair,
yeah.
They didn't really give England a kick of any description, anyway. But the under-21s fared a little better. And our two boys made a bit of an appearance towards, it's like a fleeting appearance. There you go. I've got both Hall and Miley there. Both come on with 30 minutes or so to go. Obviously did okay. Lovely to see them actually getting on board and getting some kicks of that white thing, especially Hall. Like I say, it looks like he's never been away, if I'm honest with you. So well done them. Again, come out winning 4-0. Good exhibition of how to finish the ball into the net type of thing. Let's hit that onion sack. Been some really interesting bits and pieces flying around, and I have literally just read that we are going to be signing a young Brazilian. I don't know whether you've seen this. There's okay. Well, here we go. The lad's on the card now, as you can see. Palmeiras midfielder Alan Elias, as the Brazilian club braces for formal offers from Europe, according to Bolivips Romario Jr. Apparently Newcastle are preparing. They are. let's just say, I wouldn't say advanced talks, but where you've had contact. And like I say, he seems to be one of the standout young players at Palmeiras. And if you look at some of the players that Palmeiras have sold over the last few years, he comes with a bit of credit, to be fair. This is his wheel. To be fair, I can't find that much information. And this is over the last 365 days. So it's not just this season. So beware of that. But again, you can see from exactly the way this metric, if you like, this pizza pie is set up, is very much on the assisting side of things. I would say he's more a winger when I look at this. And I don't know much, and I'm hoping Chris potentially could fill us in with this guy, or even Foxy if he's in the chat. Like I say, I haven't really had that much chance to have a look at him. A couple of games that I have seen snippets, he's coming from the right-hand side. Looks predominantly left-footed, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, as you can see, on the attacking side of things, he's a very interesting player. His metrics are very high. And it's obviously, again, it's an area of concern where you're just not getting anything from your wingers. So is that something Eddie Howe needs to address again this window? Is it something that you guys think that Eddie Howe? Do you not think Eddie Howe's got other areas of concern? He certainly has for me. I'm not saying that these wingers need a kick up the backside. For me, if he's going to cost 60 million, say,
Semenyo, are you talking about?
No, this kid. I mean, they reckon they want decent money for him. All I'm saying is, if you're in and around 50 million for this young lad from Brazil, now I'm not saying he's going to cost anywhere near that. I'm just saying they want Estevao type money for him, and like I say, they want good money for him. That's what's out there in the press, if you like, especially the South American press. So for me, it's a case of, if they're willing to go and splash out another 50 million quid on a winger, why don't you just go and throw another 15 and release? It's the release clause is there. So just get
for Semenyo, you mean?
For Semenyo.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, to me, but I don't think it will be a loan going for Semenyo now that that's come out.
No, I don't think so either.
I think there'll be a queue at the door.
I think as well, though, it is good that we're starting to look at the South American leagues by the sounds of this, that we are beginning to broaden the horizon of where we're actually looking for players.
Yeah, well, Russ Wilson said that, didn't he, when he came in, that was going to be one of his main areas of work, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have pleased you for once in my life, now, because you can see one of my stat maps. I'm really glad that I've managed to get something actually in picture that you can pick up, lad.
That like can't be one of his stat maps. I can see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's only took me over 12 months to get it right. Swapping for Ilanga, Mag debates. I'll tell you something now. There's got to be some type of call of president. But like I say, that is just something that I've quickly read and had a quick glance at, if you like. There isn't a lot of detail. You can have a look on transfer market, but I can't find a thing on FOTMob. He's not even in the Palmeiras side, even though he has been in the first team for most part of the season. 23 goals, 1 goal and 3 assists so far this season. So like I say, his performances is not bad. Can play in the attacking midfield as well, so he can play in the 10 or high 8, central midfield and right midfield. So like I say, he is left-footed. So very much in and across that 10 zone. And we all know that Eddie Howe likes his variety in places. So
Darren Cassar, good morning from Melbourne. It's not off good morning, isn't it? It's about
it is
4 o'clock in the morning in Melbourne, isn't it?
So that's an interesting one.
Good day.
Good day indeed. Good morning. Apparently, Palmeiras have inserted a release clause worth as much as €100 million, 88 million in Alan's contract. Shows you just how highly rated that he is. So, and they rate him as. So, like I say, I know. I've just got your message, mate. Are you coming, bud? I'm already here. I love that. It's certainly an interesting one. I was planning on starting this.
That's one thing. Just out of interest there, because Magdeburg, Bates, is saying something for Alanga. Well, I don't know about Alanga necessarily, but the one thing we could offer Bournemouth is potentially, Barnes, Gordon, Alanga. Take your pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on current form, yeah. You know what? And this is, I suppose, a little bit of in honour.
And then wouldn't it be just like the thing? Somebody like Alanga would go to Bournemouth and he'd recover his form, become a world beater. And that would be because Iriola's got him now instead of Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. That would be exactly it, wouldn't it? It would be a case of, we know why. So here we go. I don't know where I'm going to make this so you guys can see it. This is in honor of Connor, if you like. During the show yesterday, when we were talking about contracts and everything else, and like I say, it's still up for debate. But Connor did throw a question in there, and unfortunately I hadn't seen it. But after the show, I always go through bits and pieces, some things that I can tick off my sheet regarding news, and other things that obviously I want to keep further on down the field, if you like, because obviously with you guys being on the show as well today, and then the lads before me, sometimes what we don't want to do is keep repeating things over and over again. So I've been really busy, as you can see. I've been drawing. So Newcastle United, we've got the big fight coming up. This is nearly as big as the Eubank Ben reunion. This is Dan the Bomber Byrne versus Sven the Stopper Botman. And it was an interesting conversation that I had, with myself mainly, because I was listening to what Connor was saying, and I was trying to work it out in my head. And the reasons why I think this is a really good talking or point to talk about is they've both going to contest the same position. So we are now going to have to see who Eddie Howe picks and who is going to lose. Now, the reasons why I've put it in this type of situation, if you like, with this fight coming up, is because we know Sven is obviously on the verge of signing a new contract. The ultimatum is he wants more game time, right?
Yeah.
Dan Byrne has now got the only World Cup he has potential to get involved with. So for him, as a little bit of a landmark in his career, even if he doesn't get a time on the pitch, to be part of that World Cup team, I think would go, a long way in his memoirs. So,
which could potentially win it.
Well, I mean, we are the favourites to win it, which I still find a little bit hard to swallow. But when you look at some of the teams that we potentially could come up against, Spain look absolutely bang on for me, I must admit. But we'll see. Things happen. But I think this could be an issue what Eddie Howe has to try and solve, because it's not going to go away. And as daft it looks, and as much as I don't want to hear this or even want to say this, it could be Hall that fails. To get these two boys happy, and I say happy in inverted commas, who's the easiest one to take out the side?
No, I can't. Bear in mind, Hall has got the World Cup as well.
Get them gloves on, Boaky. Get them gloves on before you come laying in, lad.
Not a chance.
There's not a chance. I mean,
the beauty is he's got a week's respite. So, the ideal scenario is Botman ends up back in the garage. But, the Rolls Royce ends up back in the garage. But, he's out this weekend, suspended. But when he comes back, it's pay your money, take your choice time. But it's definitely not Lewis Hall.
No. I mean, I'm being
was
flippant,
it not yesterday
obviously.
that I said if it's Lewis Hall, I'm straight over to the dark side.
Yeah, you want him out. I mean, listen, I am being flippant with all this, and like I say, that's why I said for me it was I certainly don't want to come in and sound as though this is what I want, because it's not. All I'm saying to you is we spoke about this before, and we asked Eddie to see if he's going to wear these big boy pants and whether he's going to drop one or the other. And he ended up dropping nobody because he didn't need to, because he could utilise both of them. Obviously, Dan Burn as a left back. But when I saw Connor's question, and it was an interesting one. They're both vying for not only international caps, World Cup year. Both of them want to play in the World Cup. We're on the verge of signing this young man. He's coming up to his 2-year deadline, I suppose. And Liverpool, as we know, are very interested in Botman. And it's how can you keep two players that want game time for their own reasons, their own individual reasons, happy, one sitting on the bench, one playing? Or is it a case of every week you swap one in and out? Because I think that could cause massive problems if you do that.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. And would you be happy? Sorry, Boaky, I was going to ask you, would you be happy, Andy, if you were told, say if you were Burn, I'll tell you what, Dan, I'm going to play Botman through the Premier games and I'm going to play you in the Cup games?
To be honest, I wouldn't be happy if I was Burn, because I don't think he's done anything wrong at centre-back. He's for us. The one thing I would say is that I know it's a World Cup year and it's Burn's last chance to get there, but as Newcastle United, we can't let that make our decisions. We've got to do what's best for Newcastle United and our team. And at the minute, I think a fit Botman is a lot better defender than Burn. Burn's got the passion, but Botman is a better technical defender, in my view. And I think moving forward, Burn will get time on the pitch because it's a long season and there'll be injuries and things like that. But I think the choice at the minute is the Rolls Royce, as Wynn says. He has to be the starter in the major games.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, there's nothing of what you've just said there that I don't disagree with. But that's what I said. You can understand the situation and the dilemma that the boss is in. When you're looking at two players that both vying for the same position, where do you play them? Or does he throw Botman right side of centre back and play them both, and we lose Malik Chow? Or do you go to the three at the back? You know what I mean? So these are the type of questions I wanted to throw at you guys, and it's just about understanding.
I think even going three at the back to me is negative. A cop out.
Yeah, negative.
It's a cop out. And I wouldn't be pleased to see that.
No.
To be fair,
I wouldn't be totally that wouldn't get as far over to the dark side as would not playing Hall. But I think it's dead simple. Hall plays and Burn plays and Botman's on the bench. Dead simple.
To be fair with him, how he's made the choice with Shaw. He didn't put him straight back in, which I think in seasons gone by he would have. I think he realised he's got a hell of a player in Shaw as well, so the other side of the coin on that. But I think he has to make the same decision with him, Burn and Botman, and decide that Botman's the better defender, but Botman's the better player.
Yeah.
And he's the one that should be playing. He's the one that he's the future. Burn's now getting towards being the past forward. It's not nice. It's not nice.
So next season.
No, you can't win. If you've got a player who's the future, you play him. If he's good enough, he should be playing.
He should be playing. Absolutely.
He's the Rolls Royce. He's the He's the best out of the two of them.
But I believe that's the point, though. I don't think he's a Rolls Royce.
You just called him it?
Yeah, I said everybody calls him a Rolls Royce because he's always in the garage. Because he's never fit.
But he is a class defender. He
was before he got injured. He's never been the same since he came back.
He's a step above Byrne. You can't deny that.
And I can't deny that. I am denying it.
I know you've got a love for Byrne, and it's the same. You've got these blinkers for certain people, Howe and Byrne, but Byrne is not as good a technical defender as Botman is.
Well, I simply put the question: do you play the current England international centre half, or do you play a wannabe Dutch centre half?
Well, you play the best player for Newcastle United,
which is Dan Byrne.
Yeah, is Botman.
Oh, there you go. That'll be an interesting one for the poll to be put up, isn't it? It's a shame I can't do it. Okay, then, everybody out there in viewerland that's with us at the minute, Byrne or Botman, the choice is totally yours. I know it was.
And also, as you say, with Byrne, you get that commitment, fire, that extra 10% that being a Geordie gives you. Or 5% or 2%, whatever it might be.
I do see that that point, and that's what a lot of people won't see, And I mean, I listened to Chris on more than once saying he doesn't get the Geordie understanding. He doesn't understand what that is as a player playing for the club that you support, and how much of a drive that gives you compared to somebody coming from abroad. Because it's just another club. I'm going to go back in a minute, and we're going to talk about just that, because I've got an interesting little bit of dialect. What recent body of work are you basing that Botman is a better player, Boaky? There's a question for you from Tony T.
Well,
he was on the phone today. Well done, Tony, for coming on the phone.
I think if you've watched them play, you'll see the difference. But how many times has Byrne let we down? He scored an own goal, but that was trying to cover for by. Sorry, how many times has Botman let we down? He scored the own goal, but that was trying to get back to help Byrne.
He wasn't too clever against Brentford, mate.
No, he's had bad games, but Byrne's had bad games as well. Botman overall,
Byrne's bad games have been at left back though.
But Botman's the better defender. So, but. Why? In which case, when did he not move Botman to left back and put Byrne and leave Byrne at centre back? Because Botman's the better central defender.
Because Byrne was left back and the best defence in the league.
But that was a couple of years ago. Now he's put on a lot of.
It was only a couple of years ago. Do you honestly think Dan Byrne? And I mean, this is a serious question. The automatic answer is yes, because obviously when you get older you slow down. But, I mean, Dan Byrne was never rapid to start with. I don't see any sign. Every sign I've seen of Dan Byrne is that he's improved season on season since he's come here.
It's centre-back potentially, but not at left back.
At centre-back.
But then you're crossing over the lines because you're talking about.
Well, I'm not, because you're saying Byrne's made loads of mistakes. The mistakes Byrne's been caught out is at left back, not at centre back.
No, but I'll tell you something now. When you say he ain't rapid, the Asda manager said he was really quick with 6 carts in front of him. Just saying. I'm just saying. Gary Livington has put one to you. What to look at is how many top 6 teams would sign Byrne and how many would sign Botman. Also, Liverpool are heavily linked with Botman. Don't see any links for Byrne.
Well,
but is that because of age?
Of course it's because of age.
And it's because of class as well. Even if Byrne was a lot younger, there wouldn't be the people in for Byrne. Because you're saying, Wayne, in one breath that he gives extra 5-10% for Newcastle, which I agree with, he will do. But he's not going to do that at another club. So if you're a big club,
no, but neither has anybody else.
But no, if you're a big club and you've got the choice between signing Byrne or Botman, but regardless of age, you're going to choose Botman. He's a better player.
Yeah, but right now we're talking about him playing for Newcastle. So what I'm saying is it matters. Run the omelette, this will be on your side, no doubt. If you're playing a centre-back, playing next to a bad left back, you're going to struggle. Play Dan Burn next to himself at left back, and he looked like Francis Benali.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie, boy.
I think if you played Dan Burn next to himself at left back, he'd probably look like Botman, a good defender.
Yeah. There is that. I know the young uns are playing. I mean, you can see. I'm just trying to get the score for the young uns because they're playing Real Sociedad tonight, aren't they, at Whitley Park? 7 o'clock kickoff. So if anybody's got any updates on that one, fire them our way if you can. Interesting team lineup for that actually, which we'll come on to in a second. But you understand how that question that kind of threw at me. I sat there, listening to the lads afterwards, Chris and the boys, and I seriously couldn't answer it. I couldn't answer it by not dissing one or the other, because that is what Eddie Howe has got to do. He has got to make a decision on whether he's going to give the extended contract to Botman, because we now find well that he won't sign it if there ain't no guarantee of playing time. But then, on the other hand, you talk about this loyalty card that he carries around with him. It's probably better than my Boots card. He has got to then look at Dan Burn every time we go training and say, sorry, mate, your World Cup year could be scuppered. But surely, and again, this is why I love these type of debates, because that's what it is. It's about us having an opinion, nothing else. And the same with you guys in the chat. Half-time 0-0, according to Toon Assassin. Thanks, mate. For me, I look at this current setup, and this is the type of situation I want more than the two centre-backs to be in. It's a World Cup year, and we have a lot of players that have to play the top level to get to more or less guarantee a spot. And I don't mean a guarantee spot in a start, like in a squad at the international level, to try and muscle themselves into that 11. Now, for me, Chow's done himself no problems whatsoever in his coming to the level, if you like, at Newcastle. And I think that's what Nagelman's seen. And now, obviously, even though he's only been introduced as a bit part player, he's certainly opening that door up for himself. And I think if he continues to play at the level that we know he can play at, I think he's going to do himself no harm whatsoever in being guaranteed a squad player. But the rest of the groups, if you like, I mean, the likes of Toon Army and stuff like that, I think it's nailed on. As Wynne was saying, they got heavily criticised for him not playing the second game, which they lost. And the Italian press have gone to town with them. And that's the situation that you're in, isn't it? If Eddie Howe makes this wrong decision, and I mean, this weekend, the decision's made for him because obviously Burn's suspended. That's the thing. And now Botman's got to step in, and he's got to become this Rolls Royce that ain't in the garage all the time. Because the week after, well, midweek, then all of a sudden it's a case of which one do I pick? That's when the conundrum starts. So for me, Botman's
I
got
just
an
think
opportunity.
alternating is not an option, and certainly not in the big games. As you say, we're going to need, especially with Botman's injury record.
We are going to.
We're going to need, Ronnie Omelette saying there, Wynne, I do agree with you on some things too, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers for that, Ron.
Not a problem. I mean, we let's quickly go on to Shaw then. Lots of rumours out there that I've been reading up in my little snippet. There's every opportunity. I mean, according to
every likelihood, I think.
You look at both sides of the fence here now. I think Emil Kraft is virtually gone. Again, from what I've read today, I think that's more or less a done thing now. I don't think there'll be any extension whatsoever for Emil Kraft. And you know what? I wish him all the best. Wherever he decides to go.
Indeed.
In January, I wish him all the best because the lad has been absolutely phenomenal for us. There's very few players you get that are happy to play a bit part in any team. And when they do get a chance, they never let you down, to a level. And I think that is what you've got to ask. Tony T's coming in with another question here. What does it say about Botman if his game falls off so badly because we have a makeshift left back? That is something that I put to task. The other week when we played, I think was it Brentford or was it West Ham where he played more centrally, and he didn't move across where he could have to narrow the angle. I think it may have been West Ham. The ball went over to their right, our left side. Burn was obviously a bit further field than he needed to be, but Botman never actually made any ground to cover. Where you've seen before. Burn covered Botman in the centre because he made that tackle, which then went on to be a goal. But you never see sometimes it going the other way. And when it does, everybody then jumps on, Burn's back because he's out of position. But that's what your centre-half should be there for. You're there to cover somebody who's out of position, and that's why we shuffle
all
across.
Eventualities.
Yeah, you shuffle across when we start going forward. But Trippier's been caught out, I don't know how many times this season. Because he marauds forward and never gets back, and it's been Chow that's got. And again, I think that is everything said about Chow since he's come into this side, because he is covering the right back really well. But is it the fact that he's got the pace and Botman hasn't? Because, like you said before, Botman doesn't look very quick, even though people say he is.
No, I think all of our problems stem from not even left back. Our problems stem from the fact that our wingers have been so poor. And with them being so poor, we're losing the ball in stupid positions, which is immediately leaving us wide open. And throughout the team, which has, again, been a problem that probably should have been identified and addressed, there's no pace. There's not enough pace. Mm. Just a quick shout out for Darren, because I was saying it's stupid o'clock in the morning in Melbourne, in ours, and he says, I'm listening on the way to work. Big game this week, and he's been supporting the Toon since 92. Good on you, lad. Thought I would get that in before you had to get out your car to go and do your graft.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tony T is saying a beam. Oh, it's just a super sticker. Thank you, Tony. Beaming face with a smiling eyes.
Indeed. Fabulous. Thank you ever so much, matey. You're doing us proud. Again, these are the things that everybody comes to. I mean, Connor, again, he's just sent me a text. And he said, the problem is, there's got some context behind this because I don't know who it was before. Burn played with a player like himself at left back. No, he hasn't, right? He's had Tino and he's had Hall as his left-sided player. So there's a bit of a difference when you're looking at what Burn's achieved. And I think that's the problem. I think what when you said before, has Burn let us down? Well, not really, but he has had the right players around him to support him and do the business. And that helps massively. And I think that's what I said. I wouldn't go too harsh on Botman with how he's performed lately, because like I say, when you're half-headed into another area, your concentration on your own job sometimes wavers a little. So we'll see how it goes. Toon Assassin saying that we are 50-50, Tino chance. Well, I've read, I don't know how true it is, they're all back for the Man City game, or could be within the squad for the Man City game. Let's put that to the test. Yeah. Apparently he's saying Wiss is not.
Ronnie Omelette here. Who would you pick from Gallagher, McTominay, or Menu? Well, Gallagher for me every day of the week.
Yeah, you like Gallagher, don't you?
He's also saying, interestingly, that he has just finally located the like button It's moved from the left to the right. Honestly, it was there in plain sight, and I've only just found it again after days. So
What's that
if
on
anybody
YouTube?
else is hunting for it, it has moved. It's moved from its own place in the bottom right-hand corner, well, on my screen anyway, from the bottom left-hand corner up into the main line at the top. So find it and click it.
Yeah, we do something with it. Foxy, he's saying this one. The Chow issue, which is harsh to say, but reality.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, it's like that was like the big issue then, mate. Give me your £2. The Chow issue was harsh to say, but reality. Every defence he's played in turns to shambles. Maybe it's just a coincidence. That's an interesting one as well, isn't it? Because, like I said, lots of people or lots of teams didn't even look at the lad for the money that he came to us on. It does make you wonder whether it's something about his game that unbalances the rest of the lads around him. I can't see it because he's a progressive ball player. He likes to carry the ball forward, and that's what I love. I'd love to see us play with a 3 and a 6, 3 at the back and a 6, a holding 6, so you can play a diamond in the back to release the balls, and then move your 2, the likes of Botman who can ball play, the likes of Chow who can ball play, into the midfield, into that 6 to support. I think you could have an amazing setup if you, especially with the players that we've already got. You can literally go 2-2-2-2-2, virtually the entire middle of the park, with just the odd bits and pieces outside. Ronnie Armlett, go on, mate.
We're going to beat Man City. This one's for win. You take some stick, but we've got to believe sometimes, guys. Believe.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, 6 years, you know. This has been the toil of Newcastle. Yeah. 6 years since the last time we beat them. So it's got to come sometime.
But bear in mind, those 6 years, they've been top of the tree.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't read too much into it. Right, then let's get into
the worrying thing is some stats. Forget about Man City necessarily. But somebody asked a question, or it might have been on the afternoon show. When was the last time Newcastle beat a team who, in the season that they beat them away, finished in the top 6? Not top 6 team, not the cartel 6, but a team who finished in the top 6. When was the last time Newcastle? And I meant to look to research it, and I didn't. But I'll do that for tomorrow.
I didn't even get the question.
So when was the last time in the league that Newcastle beat a team away who in that season finished in the top 6? So you would say Arsenal have been in the top 6 forever. Liverpool have. Man City have. Chelsea have bar one season.
Yeah.
I would take a bet at Tottenham.
Well,
yeah, but Tottenham finish in the top 6?
No, but
that was what I said. I think we've beaten Tottenham twice.
Yeah,
down there in the league, but in either of those seasons did Tottenham finish in the top 6? Well, and that's what I
don't know.
No,
I don't know. But if it is, that's all it'll be. I think we could never beat Liverpool, never beat Man City. Man U and not when Man U were in the top. So
I suppose you could ask that about most teams, because I'm guessing if you're finishing top 6 and you're below them.
Villa, 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
And did Villa finish in the top 6 then?
Yeah.
Right.
And because Tony, who phoned in today, has just told me that. See, for a second there, you thought I was really clever.
It might have been Tony that.
It was Tony
that asked the question this afternoon.
Foxy
yeah, it was.
Foxy Jason point there, 2023-24 away at Villa.
Yeah, but did Villa finish in the top 6?
Didn't finish top 6.
Then.
Right.
So the last time we beat anybody in the top 6 was at Villa, 2004 in January.
So 20 odd years.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? And we are supposed to be a better side. But trouble is, so is everybody else. And I think that's where people...
That's where people forget, exactly.
Forget that everybody else has also got better players around us. Just to make a point on the under-21s playing tonight at Whitley Park. This is the under-21s lineup. And as you can see, Park on the left-hand side is what you expect. Neve, who we class as a striker, playing in the 10 role. Is he being nurtured, do you think, in that 10 role? Because he's played there a long time now in the under-21s. Harrison, as you can see, Alfie Harrison's out on that right-hand side. I said, he's delivering some really good balls into the back post area from this right-hand side. Cuts it back onto his left and does a bit of a curling cross to that back stick. And we've had some decent headers and goals from that point. Munda in the middle, I think he's playing really well. Nice to see Pivas in the side as well, because, like I say, I have a lot of faith in this kid if we can get him playing. Heffernan, we know that Heffernan's a decent player and will eventually get there. But it does make you wonder how, if Eddie doesn't play with a 10, why he's making the kids. Because at the end of the day, these are the lads that are going to move up to the senior side. So why allow your kids to play that level if we are never going to play it? Or do you think that's just Eddie talk?
I just don't. We can sit and look at that team till the cows come home. I just don't see Eddie promoting any of those players through. He's had chances this season so far and he hasn't done it. He's just got...
And on the odd occasion that Neve has come into the first team...
Squad.
Sorry?
The first team squad, he's never...
No, first team. No, he's played. He's had minutes.
Oh, no, he's had minutes, but I'm saying he's been in the squad. He hasn't played.
He never started, but he's had minutes, but he's looked way off the...
But how long has he been on the pitch, Win?
Not long, agreed.
We've got other players that look way off the mark as well. I mean, we play wingers every week that seem to be way off the mark. I just think those lads have just got no chance at the minute under Eddie with trying to get through to the first team squad. So to have chances on the bench or anything like that, as I see, he's had umpteen chances this season. He just hasn't done it. Gary?
I am just looking. I've got it definitively. It was. Oh no, that was at home. That's not away.
That's not away, is it?
No, that's at
the
home.
last time Newcastle beat City in the league was 2-1 win at St James's Park at the end of January 2019. That was us at home. The problems run deeper than that. If we look at the bigger picture over a greater period of time, we find that Newcastle have actually only beaten Manchester City 4 times in the last 20 years, across a total of 41 meetings in all competitions. Talk about a bogey side. Interesting. Absolutely crazy. So again,
you look at a lot of Premier League teams.
Okay, so we've got it. I think we've got it here. October the 16th, 22, 2-1. We won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that season Tottenham finished 4th. No, that cannot be right. It's saying Tottenham's final position 4th, Newcastle's final position 4th.
No, that cannot be right. I was going to say.
Good old yeah.
Yeah, it won't work.
Foxy said it was a Villa away 100%, 23-24. Biggie off the bench, set up Murphy.
But did Villa play? But they didn't finish top 4 though. Then did they? 23-24.
Yeah, because
the top 6 was the question,
season, weren't they?
Sorry,
they were in the Champions League. Was it last season Villa were in the Champions League? So it would have been. I'm sure.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Villa 4th. That's from Foxy, that is. It was Villa away, 22-24, 100%. Miggy off the bench, set Murphy up, which turned into an own goal. Villa 4th, yeah, apparently. 4th on that league. So, yeah, you're right, mate. They were in the Champions League, so, yeah. Well, there you go. Short memories, eh? I thought it was me with the brain injury, not you two.
I think that was just drink related.
Not
today, sadly. I got stood up.
The sponge. I say he's usually on top of anything like that. Interesting one though. You're talking about Sandro Tonali here.
We've got a super sticker here from Darren. Oh, you must be getting out and going to work. Red hand pointing up.
Yeah, well done. Have a good day at work, buddy.
Cheers, Dad.
Inside Milan, Malik Chow, this is. When I arrived in England, he, as in Sandro Tonali, explained to me that Newcastle is a great city. The team is big, not like Milan. So, are we bigger than Milan? Because according to Tonali, we are.
That's a weird kind of, I think that's just been lost in translation between Italian and German and English. Newcastle are big, not like Milan.
Yeah, exactly.
Milan's a far bigger city, and you would have to argue a far bigger football
club. Yeah,
they are a far bigger football club, but do you think it means bigger as in can attract or can spend money?
Atmosphere. I mean, the atmosphere there is phenomenal.
No. Yeah. I mean, does he mean in regards to getting players in? So Newcastle can. Italian teams are struggling to get players in, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's
in regards to money. Does he mean money-wise?
That could bring us on to PSO. I don't know if it's going to, but at the minute that is the case. But all of these rules that they're talking about bringing in now are going to severely curtail that power, the Premier League's power.
Well, that's something that me and you were going to jump on, say, for the last section, if you like. Because like I say, I know you guys covered it a little bit, didn't you? Yeah, I know you guys covered it a little bit towards the midday section. So I didn't want to keep repeating what we've done, but like I say, we will try and get to the nooks and crannies of it.
People tuned in who weren't. Shame on you who weren't watching when they were at work at 12 o'clock.
At 12 o'clock, yeah. I'm going to put this on there because apparently this is the police are actually looking for all the bedwetters out there. That's the scene behind this one. Police are seriously looking for
left back.
Yeah, it probably is something like that. To be fair, I think somebody's playing a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek one. Please continue their search for fans who want Eddie Howe out and had a season ticket before the NUFC takeover. That is the motto. Lewis Hall game for
but by the way, that that bit that you just skipped over at the very end, the last sentence, is. Could well be pertinent.
It could well be.
Who won Eddie out and had a season ticket before the takeover.
The takeover, yeah.
In other words, anybody who's jumped on since the takeover, impatience and no sort of appreciation of what he's done since then, whereas if you were there before, you know exactly what he's done for any length of time. And I'm not saying that you weren't. I'm not saying that lots of people weren't.
How many new season tickets have there been since the takeover? In regards to how many people have given up the season ticket and how many people have bought them, I would say a couple of thousands maybe. You're not going to have 10,000 new fans in the stadium that weren't there before the takeover.
Well, that was what, just under 5,000 sold.
Right, so
in the week of the turnover,
but how many of them
including
fans,
a couple of my mates who
I'm seeing how many of them fans were fans that had been there beforehand, but had give up on it?
Yeah, they absolutely were. They'd all ditched their tickets under Ashley.
I don't think we can say there's all new fans in the stadium, and they're the ones that want rid of Howe. I think it's,
No. I think he's saying quite the opposite in that tweet thing, X post and whatever they're called these days.
Yeah.
He's saying out of all of the fans who want Eddie out, how many were there before the takeover?
Well, according no fan wants Eddie out at the stadium.
Mm.
Well, no, I'm not saying that that'd be a handful, but that's all there is.
I mean, it is a crazy one. I mean, I looked at that. It was a bit tongue in cheek, if I'm honest with you. But
next time you go to the match, Boaky, right?
I'm there.
I'll stand with you at the bottom of Leazes Park Road, and as the black and white scarves are coming on, we'll ask them: Eddie in, Eddie out, Eddie in, Eddie out, Eddie in, Eddie out.
You've got to take your clipboards now, boys. You've got to look official.
No, I'll take a video of it all, though.
I think the problem is when with you, you've got a lot of people at the match who know what you'll want them to say.
No, I'm talking about talking to total strangers between Aspers and the ground.
You can't say there's not people want Eddie out. I've never seen you with a video that's actually had anybody say they want Eddie out at the match.
Oh yes, I have.
Because
I've actually mentioned it when I've put him on and said, "Oh, I've actually found an Eddie Howe fan."
But there's more than one Eddie Howe fan at the ground. There's a groundswell underneath now beginning to get up.
He was. I think he was from Brighton, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was. He was Bournemouth, wasn't it?
Might have been. He wasn't a local. He was in the ball, but he wasn't a local.
Yeah.
So not a problem.
But he was absolutely a proper fan. He comes up every week.
I do love it with you two. According to the mag, have written a thing about was Nick Voltemada a problem? Was he the one that is going to solve the problem? Has he become the problem? And they all of a sudden they've made this statement. I mean, I don't believe that Voltemada is a problem. I think the system is the problem, and Eddie Howe needs to try and find something to fill the void. Because they were talking, they've made a piece on there talking exactly what we were saying before. Nick Voltemada wasn't the first choice. We know Ugo Ekitike, Sesko, and Strand Larsen were the three main ones that Eddie Howe wanted. And it seemed as though at the 11th hour, Nick Voltemada was the one after being turned down by all the others. The reality was tough that a host of clubs have been keen on Nick Voltemada ahead of the summer transfer window, they write. But it had quickly become apparent that Big Nick only had eyes for Bayern Munich, who had been clear they wanted to buy him. No surprise either way, with Bayern the dominant German club, who hoover up most of the best young talent from the Bundesliga clubs. Whilst the natural progression for many of those young up-and-coming German players is to want to sign for the most successful clubs in their native country. When the other top clubs all stepping back in the knowledge that Nick Voltemada had made clear that he saw his future with Bayern Munich had a free run in him. However, they tried to take advantage to get the exciting young player on the cheap. A series of low ball offers infuriated Stuttgart, and they understandably refused to sell him. And then obviously he coming to Newcastle. But what they're trying to say is Nick Voltemada, literally, what for me, it's like a little bit hypocritical, because we'd criticised a lot of the Newcastle business for doing exactly what Bayern Munich were trying to do, and that was to go out there and lowball all of the other players, and we got completely bombed out. And don't get me wrong, players that want to go to bigger named clubs. I'm not going to say they're bigger clubs now, but bigger named clubs, got the history, then fair play. There ain't a lot you can do about that. But they are obviously trying to work on the point that, it's not a panic buy, because that's what's been labelled out there. I think ESPN made a statement saying that Nick Voltemada was a panic buy, and that's why now that he's finding it difficult to find that space in the Premier League. Now Premier League coaches have got to know him and I've got to know how he fits into Eddie Howe's system. It's easy for any opposition team to close that space down when he comes in, because all they do is step up and close that space. We've said that I don't know how many times. So what my statement for you guys is, Panic Boy is the title. Would it be wise now for Newcastle? I mean, we know Asula isn't involved. Now, I've made a suggestion about young Neve. Now, I know you aren't very happy with Neve up and coming because he hasn't.
I've never said I'm not very happy.
No,
All I'm saying is, he's getting rave reviews. But we've seen kids get rave reviews before, and when you put them under the spotlight, they wither and die.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not saying he is the one at the minute, but I mean, he certainly.
Have you said on numerous occasions, if you're ever going to make the step up, you've got to shine like a beacon.
Yeah, 11 appearances.
21.
Yeah, 11 appearances, 2 assists, 5 goals, right? So, for me, not to have this kid even sat on the bench to give him the last 5 or 10 minutes to get him that experience. All I'm saying to you is he knows where the net is. And even though we went and lost, I can't think who that team was the other day, everybody was calling this lad's name because of him playing in that deeper role now. It seems as though, like I say, the 10 slot seems to be what Eddie is trying to nurture, which makes me think that Eddie's got a plan up his sleeve. And what maybe until somebody comes in, and that's what I was going to say, is it time now then, after we've seen Asula bit part again, we know he's a little bit further behind than he should be at his age group. Is it time in January to get him going if Frankfurt come back with an offer?
For me, it's a no-brainer.
If you get a good offer for him, he's got to go. The other point I'd make on that, Gary, is you're quite right. And he should have been tried out on the bench a few times this season. The one that really annoyed
he has been.
No, but the one that really annoyed me was, I can't remember the game, but it was when Asula was out. Was it the last game? And Asula was out, so he couldn't be on the bench. And he put 4 defenders on the bench and 3 midfielders and a keeper. Surely, you don't need 4 defenders on the bench, and especially not Lascelles. Why not take him out and put Neve on the bench? And then you're giving yourself that option up front. If he basically gives himself no options to change much up front without changing it to a winger going in to play up front for a while. Mm. His decision making at times is strange. I really don't understand what he's got against youth. He just doesn't like youth players, and he'd rather put 34, 5, 6-year-olds on the bench who he doesn't bring on, but he seems to just want, I don't know if it's a comfort thing for him or something, he just wants them around him all the time.
Mm. I mean,
there's a few stars here. Let's just get to these stars ones. But Tony T saying they go Champions League in 23-24.
Villa won't win.
All right. Ask about the billions of fans that do support the club who have moved around England due to work, family fans who emigrated. I'm sorry, 53,000 isn't the fan base. Okay. And sehr gut. Got the old German coming out there. If we want to play every 3 days, no, this is right up your street, because this is where I could be edging across. If we want to play 3 days, a game every 3 days, does that not take the Eddie Howe pluses out of the equation in terms of his coaching ability when he's got them for a week? And like I say, that could be a double-edged sword this week. If because we haven't, because we still haven't got them back yet. But we'll probably get more time on the pitch with a full squad this week than we have done for the rest of the season. And if we suddenly start pulling up trees against Man City, is that in fact an indication that Eddie's great when he's got a week to work with the players and sort the problems out and get it all fixed, but he can't do it on a 2 games a week basis, which is what, let's face it, we are going to be looking to do. And that's again one of the little crosses that I've got against Eddie. I've got, I'm not Eddie. I've had plenty of criticism on this channel about Eddie. I just think he's got too much credit in the bank right now for to be slinging the baby out with the bathwater at the minute. And finally, Steve Waldo. Oh, and here's another thing. Our wingers haven't got a football brain, and that's Walter's problem. And there's the thing. If you compare how Walter Mara plays for Germany in the last couple of games to how he's played for us, as Janet used to say in the Campbell soup adverts, the difference is in the wingers, Doctor. They had Sarni on one side and Baum bombing up the left.
Yeah, but they play a 4-2-3-1 with Gnabry just behind him, so he doesn't have to come so deep. That's the problem. That's what I said. Not only has he been the provider, and I'm talking about Voltemada here for Eddie Howe. He's been the provider. He's been the answer to what we all thought was doomsday when the rat disappeared. Because you can't replace Isaac. We know that. Unless you're going to spend money, and I mean big money. So when Nick Voltemada came through, I didn't expect him to hit the ground running. My thoughts on Nick Voltemada. I think the kid's raw. I think he's got a talent. But I didn't expect him, and I don't think any other coaches did expect him to appear at Newcastle the way he did. And credit to the kid, that's a hard job to do on its own, to come to a new club, new country, settle in the way he has. And you look at some of his social media stuff, the lad's so relaxed it's untrue. It looks like he's having a rave time. And again, that's somebody with a steady head, somebody who's got that ability just to take the pressure and move it on, not hold on to it, because you can see the way he enjoys his football. But when you're playing in a system that supports what you do, it looks easy. And that's what Germany do. Germany play to your striker. Eddie Howe at this present moment in time is playing to the players that he's brought into the side, because he doesn't play with a 4-2-3-1 system. But every coach in the land, and again, I go to the criticism that Amarim's been getting over the last couple of seasons, because he will not change his system. Even though the system that he wants to play, you need technically gifted ball players at the back to play the ball through the middle of the park. That's great if you've got them. If you haven't, then the pressure becomes on you and you alone. And that's why Eddie Howe at the minute is in the spotlight, because it's failed for a long time now, away from home especially. And all of a sudden, we've got a striker in who doesn't press because he hasn't got that speed to put players under that pressure. So you take Gordon out of the equation because he's the only real one up top that's got that ability to go and put that, that press on quickly and get you wrong-footed. So you take him away and all of a sudden you've got a quite a slow front line. So what you should say then is, lads, let's just drop off. Let them have the ball in their own box. And let's see, when they get a third up the field, we'll do a half press and get them to kick long, because that's when you want to get the ball back and then you start to redo the ball again. And I think that is what Eddie Howe needs to do, because at the minute, from what I'm seeing, he's playing two different styles of football and it isn't suiting either of them because we haven't got the players that sit in that system.
But Gary, have you seen him actually make any changes to the way he's been playing over there? Because what you're saying is 100% right. and we've all seen that. But what tweaks or changes Eddie Howe made over the last month, 2 months, when we've all been watching this and thinking, well, it's not working, to me, he hasn't actually changed anything. He's just went straight, carried on with what he's been doing. There hasn't been a development. He hasn't, tried to tweak things around. His in-game management, we all know what that is. But at the start of the game, he hasn't actually tried anything different. It's just been sort of rinse and repeat, basically. Just, this is the way I want to do it, and at some point it'll click in, and it hasn't. And it doesn't look like it ever will.
No, and I think that's the problem. If he's got that Amrin mentality, which is where it's like, you'll play to my style, I ain't going to play to your style. That's great when you've got the players. And previously, you can't fault his numbers. Yeah, you can't fault his numbers because, 2 Champions League positions, a cup trophy, a cup final in the 4 seasons that he's had. I mean, it's exceptional. That really is exceptional. But there comes a time where players move on. And that system and that adaptability then, that's what you see good coaches do. Some coaches will say, I have got a choice of a really good player here, which means I'm going to have to play slightly differently. When Rodri left Man City, you could see there was a massive hole at Man City's midfield because it's very difficult to replace that type of kid. And you had Lewis, what was his name? Rico Lewis. He was playing at the back. He was playing in midfield in the 6. He was playing in the 8, just to try and upset the balance a little bit. The young lad was all over the place. I mean, I don't think he can get in the side anymore. And that's what you have to do sometimes as a coach. You have to just say,
that was when Man City. This is Man City won 2 out of 12.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it happens to the best of people. But like I said, for me, the Jocks are 1 up at half time, according to Kenny. Well done, Scotland.
Christina. Still 0-0 at Blue Flames.
I haven't got a clue what this is. This is up your alley, mate. 2 Meter Dribbelgott, whatever that is. But thank you ever so much, Christina.
2 meter dribbler.
Fantastic.
Instead of 2 meter Peter, 2 meter dribbler.
Yeah, can you, that's what I'm saying, Christina. I can't even speak English, never mind any other language. The reasons why I put this up here for Sean Neve, right? Now, straight away, Connor's saying, if Neve was that good, why isn't he in the England under-18s and under-21s? Well, he made 2 appearances for the under-17s and under-18s, 23 and 24, I think it is. But if you look at the competition that the kids got to play against, it's phenomenal what the England under-21s and under-20 and under-18s have a choice of picking. And I don't think that's a discredit towards Neve at the minute because he is playing well. But like I say, when you're playing in a system as well that you're not used to, it's something new that these lads have to get involved with. And the coach that's coming, Andrews, like I say, more or less stated, it's not about results. It's about individual performances, getting the best out of the lads in a position. I would have never said Alfie Harrison was a right winger, but he's playing there because, there is competition in the middle of the park.
And by the way, he was bought as a kind of right midfielder.
Yeah.
And looked like a fish out of water until they found a place for him now where he's doing a bit of good.
Yeah. There you go. Toon Assassin. If Gary is right and Wissa could be back this week, I mean, I think he'll be on the bench if he comes back anyway.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if Eddie plays with Nick in the 4-2-3-1 and Wissa being the 1 and Nick being the 3 centrally behind Wissa. I tell you, I can't wait. If that happens,
neither can I.
And
Tino and Hallback.
There you go.
But you've got
Christina saying
you've got the Gary argument of three injuries are going to derail you, and that's perfect. A perfectly valid argument. My argument would be I had the table up the day of Eddie Howe's first 4 years in charge. He's the 4th best manager in the league.
I've seen that. The table that matters is the table that we're in now in the Premier League.
Well, that's what Chris said. But that's 4 years. Now, what I would argue is he's done that. He's been the 4th best manager for the last 4 years, And I now believe he's certainly got the best squad he's ever had in 4 years.
And he's mucking it up.
And it ain't working. So, nobody's saying questions don't need to be asked. I'm just saying it's far too early to pull the trigger.
You're still trying to find stats that Eddie Howe should stay. This is the way you do it. Is you go out and look for stats to find reasons for Eddie to stay. Watch the football we've played this season. Look at our results. Look at where we are in the league. We've been terrible. We need to learn.
And that exact same statement.
But he's not developing as a manager now.
That same statement could have been made in any one of the other 4 seasons.
So again, he hasn't learned from the. You're proving my point. He hasn't learned from the other seasons. You're quite right. He has always started poorly. Because by sticking in his mind. By sticking with his system, it will come good. It always has, and it always will. And if we end up in the semi-final of the Champions League and win a cup and finish in the Champions League again, who the hell are we to argue with it?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, this Nick Voltemade thing.
All big ifs.
Yeah, it's something that we need to address, though, isn't it? It's something that we really need to go. I mean, Bayern in Germany, somebody's put on Nick Voltemade on how Bayern players reacted to his move to Newcastle. When I arrived at the national team, everybody congratulated me. Bayern players also congratulated me. When they see a player taking a step forward, you get congratulations. That was the case for me too here in Germany. So, like I say, he's got his support, and I think that helps him out massively. But the other thing that I've noticed, we were talking about it previously with how defenders are treating Nick Voltemade, and the Chronicle have made Nick Voltemade admits unusual plan to combat rough housing after shock Newcastle images emerge. We put a couple on the show, didn't we, where he was being roughed up a little bit and he was having no support or no jury, if you like, from the referee whatsoever. And he's now saying that he's made it clear he will not be pushed around by Premier League defenders after revealing he has an unusual advantage. The 6'6" German international has struggled to win free kicks, with top-flight referees not taking a sympathetic view on Voltemade's size, with shirt pulling not being clamped down on. Whether Voltemade's physical presence is giving refs the impression that he could be able to take a little bit of extra roughness is up for debate. But despite some shocking images of Voltemade being flung around by defenders without winning free kicks or penalties, he feels part of his sporting education is helping him cope with the attention of Premier League centre-backs. Voltemade told ESPN, handball is really popular in Germany after soccer. It is the most famous sport there is. I went to handball school in the morning and in the evening I had soccer. My body may not look strong, but sometimes I can push guys away. I have a good feeling in my upper body too because of handball. The coordination with my hands and feet help me in football. Have you ever thought about, Nick, putting a green shirt on or a blue shirt and wearing a pair of gloves? Because we could do with your kicking at the other end, lad.
How about, did you watch that video, by the way, the ESPN Voltemade video?
No.
Very good. It was very good. But they didn't do him a lot of favours because throughout the video, they were showing stills of Voltemade, up against opposition. In all 3 stills they showed, he's got a hold of the defender's shirt.
Yeah.
So if you watch the video, they show these stills of him in action, and in every one of them, he's actually got a hold of the defender's shirt.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I don't want to encourage the lad to dive, but I do think at times he's going to have to learn that if he is getting dragged, because he tries to stay on his feet, if he is getting dragged or something, he needs to go down. Because referees
he's got to play the system, hasn't he?
Yeah, the referees in this country will never give a free kick unless you actually go down. So I think that's something that he needs to learn around his game, is to play the game a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's probably tried to be too much of a gentleman, if I'm honest with you. And you know, if you remember, Andy Bell said, didn't he? He didn't want to see players go down. Well, unfortunately, that's what you get if you don't. You know, if you stand on your feet, then the referees just think, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Then you've been able to stay on your feet. You know, so I can see both sides of it. I mean, I certainly don't want to see players be throwing themselves to the ground, but I certainly think Big Nick needs to sort himself out. And if he does want to throw a couple around himself, then so be it for me. I'm going to go on.
You know why saying win, give everyone else a chance. You're like a Duracell bunny crossed with Seagas and Dave. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. And Mark was disagreeing with me somewhat. The squad has aged. No way have we got the best squad we've ever had when half the players are past their best. Well, that's true in a way that the squad that got him those results for over the past 4 years have aged. There's no doubt about that.
I think this is where Wilson needs to step in with that as well, when he needs to come in and say it, Eddie, look at...
What, would you have offered him a new contract?
Who? Wilson. No, Ross Wilson. I think Ross Wilson needs to come in and say it, Eddie, look, we're not keeping hold of all these old players. If we can get younger replacements, we will. And you know, if we get younger replacements who go into the under-21s and then have to step up at times, we'll do it that way. But we can't, as Gary says, Crafts looks like he's on his way out. Lascelles needs to go. Probably Willick needs to go. And we've got to start developing the squad now. As you said, we'll build up the squad for bench players over this summer to obviously make sure we had a big enough squad. The next few seasons, we need to sign less players, but sign a lot better players who are actually
better quality,
the first team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also there's a lot, you know, you've got a very valid point when you say maybe he needs to freshen up the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think that's probably one of the things that kept Fergie at the top for so long. He never kept the same number 2.
Well, I think
fresh ideas all the time, isn't it?
I think watching Tim and Peter show that was the point that they made as well. They said, great show, by the way. Fantastic.
Yeah, well done, boys.
Yeah. But in regards to that, they made the point as well. I think it seems to be coming across the board now that something needs to be freshened up, and if it's not going to be the manager, it's going to have to be some of the coaching staff. And if he's not happy with that, then he has a decision to make himself.
Mm. Yeah, it is. It is like I say, for me, I think it's the only area when you've like I say, now we've gone into the transfer window. We've pulled in Eddie Howe's players. We've pulled in the type of style of football that Eddie Howe wants to do. It's not changed in 4 seasons. So for me, the only thing that is now that he's missing is fresh ideas, because it seems as though he's hitting the same wall on that rebound all the time. And Einstein's favoured speech was obviously, if you do it twice and expect something different or something to change, do the same thing twice and expect something to change, then obviously you're an idiot. And I think sometimes, you know, you've got to look at it and you've got to say to yourself, and this is what I'm saying about Eddie. Is Eddie too soft to his friends? You know, somebody, the guys that are close to him. Some of these guys that have been with him through thick and thin, you know, gone down with him as well, been into the lower leagues, come back up with him, had the highs and lows, and they've stuck together. Sometimes being too nice in these type of cutthroat industries can be the death of you. And I think that is where Eddie has to make a decision based on his family, based on his, you know, his coaching ability going forward. And we know, like I said, as soon as you sign that contract and you become a coach, you're the closest you'll ever be to getting sacked, because it's only a matter of time when bad results come thick and fast that the fans start to turn. And I think that the difference, I mean, I've just seen Toon Assassins home and away league, if you like, over the last 4 seasons. we are 9th, I think it is, away games league over the last 4 seasons. So that I think that must be how many points you've got after 76 games.
I'm looking at it, I can't make head nor tail of it.
No, and it looks like they're 8th with 76 points with home form, I think it is. And again, like I say, either or, you've got to say to yourself, is that enough to keep you going? And if you are the same away points as you are at home, you think your home form would be a lot better. So there's something missing within that system that ain't quite hitting that mark. And like I say, for the last
but there's something flawed about those figures as well, because that's something flawed with my figures, because they're not full seasons because it was the anniversary. It was the 4th of November to the 4th of November. Yeah. It was 151 games. Add those two together, there's 152 games. But if you add the points up, 85 and 110. That's 195 points. It's and
that's in 4 years though, Win.
Yeah, 4 years. That's what Eddie's 4 years at the club. I did.
Yeah. But like I say,
are they points or are they goals?
I don't know. Anyway, that's something that we'll be on for a long time. I've already asked Win this question, Boaky, and I wanted to ask you guys in the audience because Waffy here, Chris Waff has asked the question on X. Fans, how do you feel about the dressing room, coaching staff led move to switch the order of the local hero and the blading races pre-game? And obviously you put your vote below, and I'm not going to click on because there is some obscenities, as there always is. But there's a lot of people that aren't happy with the current setup at St James's Park, with the lads coming out of. Some of the points in there, I totally agree. I think they can scrap Hey Jude, because I think that has no relevance to Newcastle whatsoever. And like I say, there's a multitude.
It's kind of, Hey Jude is kind of a fairly recent thing, but it is very potent.
It gets the crowd going.
Getting the crowd going.
Yeah. With the Geordies and stuff like that. But I mean, for me, it always, with it being the Beatles, there's always going to be the cartel element towards it, and I don't know what it is.
But it was Brentford actually who first adopted it as their home anthem.
Yeah, but again, that's something that's literally spread out wider field in the Premier League. Lots of grounds do it. So, Boaky, what's your thoughts, matey, on that? Are you happy that the Eddie Howe and his buds have come together and changed the format for the lads coming out on the field?
I think Eddie Howe and his bud should have a lot more things to worry about than what music will come out to play the game at. Why they're getting involved in this sort of thing? It just seems ridiculous. There's people in the ground who do all the communications and everything. Let them deal with that. It shouldn't have anything to do with the players, the manager, or anybody. It should be what people want. And to me, whenever the team are coming out the tunnel, it should be local hero playing. That's
basically the argument. Local hero or blading races.
Or blading races.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem.
Well, that's what the debate is at the minute, because they've swapped them round. So we're getting blading races to come out now.
I would, as I say, for me, it would always be local hero. But as I say, in regards to Eddie Howe and the cartel all deciding this, it's ridiculous. I mean,
I'll tell you my views in a minute, but Queenie, thank you very much, me darling.
Superb, darling. Thank you so much, Queenie.
And they have gone to Dean Stabler, Dave H, Vincent N, Barbara Faye. Barbara, welcome back.
Hi, Bob.
And Yvonne Okato.
Ooh.
And goodness me, she's gifted another 5 memberships.
Another 5, I was going to say. Yeah, I've just seen them come
Wow.
up. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Queenie. And this has gone to Genius Drunken. I'm already a member. Larry Strawberry, Ricky Rose, Jack Cotter, and Michael Martinez. Thank you, Queenie.
Fabulous. Thank you ever so much, Queenie. That's lovely. And like I say, we are still 8 away, guys, according to the target on Super Chat. So fire away. We've been very, very pleasant this tonight because we've done a lot of your questions firing off there before you've even done any Super Chat. So come on, fire away in the last 30 minutes or so before we disappear. I'm the same. I wouldn't change anything, but it looks like they say there's a lot of fans that aren't very happy. I mean, to be fair, there's fans that aren't bothered as long as it sang right, because apparently there's a lot of people.
Well, that's the point. You can't sing the local hero.
No, exactly, and I think that's it.
Whereas you can sing the Bladen Races.
Yeah,
which by the way has been happening, because now when there's people coming up the stairs into the stand when it's on, they're actually singing along with it.
Yeah, a lot of the comments were though that there's people that don't know the tune, or like the words. There's people that sing too fast, so it just gets a bit, you know. It's like was it the old 78s on the 45?
Honest, the bass drum that they've got keeping the beat on the version they play at the stadium, it's pretty hard to get out of time with that.
Oh, right, got you. I say that it's only something that's just started to happen, hasn't it? Do you reckon that's just to try and get them motivated, though? Just trying to get them going a bit more? Because I mean, for me,
I don't know. Anything's worth a try.
It's not. I mean, I'm with Boaky on this. There's got to be other things that I've got to concentrate on more than
it just this one. That, why we're worrying about this? We've got the league position we're in, and why are the players or the coach and staff or anybody getting involved in this sort of thing? It's a pointless thing.
Presumably they've been asked. I can't imagine, or if they haven't, it's not as though it's taken up training. Talking about that is not taking up any sort of training time or whatever.
But if we're in a better position in the league, if we're doing well, then I think it just becomes a moot point. But in regards to this, it just seems they've got a lot more things to concentrate on, and if they need a song played to get them up before the match, then he should be sacked now. At this exact point, you know, the music should have absolutely nothing to do with them lads getting up. Yes, the crowd have got the part to play, but if you're seeing when they go on the pitch, they need fans to be actually singing to get them up for the game. Then, as I say, Eddie's time's up and ta-ra. And I think most of the players should be. So
basically, what you're saying is that home advantage should never be an advantage.
Well, what I'm saying is that that a coach shouldn't be swapping songs around and things.
And yet, as history has proven for hundreds of years, home advantage is an advantage.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it shouldn't take the home advantage or the singing to get the players up for the game. They should be up when they leave that dressing room, and that's the manager's job.
And by the same token, they should be, because it's the same team, they should be up when they play away games.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly right. Well, so why historically have home games been far more successful than away games?
That's the same for every club win. I mean, that's a
exactly.
That's a.
Maybe Eddie Howe should send his playlist.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not coming unless we've got my playlist on.
What's going to be next is he's going to go in with his iPod and say, look at these on my top 5 songs this week. I want these played.
I want these on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what is it? He likes Ha-Ha, doesn't he?
I think Gillespie would have something to say about that.
Yeah, he likes Ha-Ha. Well, anyway,
Gillespie and Murphy are the DJs, I believe.
Before we send everybody to sleep, I suppose, with the final half hour, I'm going to play a little bit of fun. Here we go. Somebody was asking for this the other day. I don't know whether you guys remember this, but here we go.
Julio Giorgio, record Colombian signing. What an eventful afternoon. Just before today's kickoff, your lovely wife, Cheryl Giorgio, gave birth to a son. Congratulations. Talk us through the birth.
Eraro mesto epidural a flava monora at pound 5. I got a pura atalanto hung like a donkey.
Like father, like son, so I've heard. And what's the little nipper called?
Hamithas typical choice like Molentha, Julio, Jesus or Juan, Pancro El Mio Sanchez settled in the end on Dean.
Dean Giordio. And then in today's game, a hat-trick in the first 3 minutes. Talk us through the goals.
Ia Clamero of Nickchin at the near post. Ento Favaro of Nickchin at the far post. And Mia Katana would have to run and the third one's come off me arse.
And then after the game, Julio, the post-match paparazzi caught you in bed with the 5 naked Spice Girls all over you like a dirty rash. Now, Julio, I'm fond of you, so you'll excuse me for saying this, but you are a very, very silly but tremendously lucky man. Talk us through what you were doing with them, will you? Please?
Well, very like esto clara human club sandwich. Baradanto then me Edo Kuthata. If that posh spice does that to David Beckham, he's a happy man.
Julio Giordio, footballer, foreigner, father, adulterous husband. Will you be seeking psychiatric help over the festive season, or will you be turning to the fallen footballer's friend, Tony Adams, to help you through your crisis?
Berath Iladando Testri Alantoda, the wife's taking the nipper back to her mother's in Huddersfield. Desto Trietta Tantaram Ganandung Trends nightclub. If I don't enter that Zoe Ball and Denise Van Outen, Ariando Wallop.
Oh, I absolutely loved that. Well, that's it then. We're going to go into the boring part of the evening, I suppose, to some. But I'm going to just do a little interlude before we go.
NUFC Early Night News with Gary DeJordy Yum Yum, Andrew Boaky, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 7:30 p.m. UK, 1:30 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Right, the final 25 minutes or so. This is, have you got your coffee? Have you got the matchsticks in your eyes? We're talking SCR. PSR is gone. Now, you guys briefly spoke about this at lunchtime. Is there any point in going over the rules? Because anybody in the chat that don't know now that this is going to be the big thing.
Well, they're voting on it on Friday.
Yeah, you're right. They are voting on it on Friday. And already, like I say, there's been some debate, if you like, on certain things. I was always on the, I suppose, the fence to move. And the Athletic have made a bit of a statement, if you like. There will be 9 Premier League clubs playing in Europe this season, meaning 9 Premier League clubs must comply with UEFA's spending regulations. Breaching these regulations can lead to significant fines and, if they continue over a sustained period, even a year's ban from European competitions. It is possible to state each club's position for certain, but using all available information, the bookkeeper at C. Weatherspoon estimates how each match matches up to UEFA's 2 tests, which club are projected to breach the guidelines, and what it all means. Now, what they've done is they've done this traffic light system. So green, you're good. Obviously, amber, you're on the fringes, and obviously red, you're over, you're breaching. And as you can see, they've done everybody's there. And Newcastle, regarding the football earnings, are in the red, and the squad cost, they're on the fringes. So what I was, like I say, you were going to some detail with Chris, and me and you were having a bit of a discussion last night before the show started about, should we go into this? Should we breach this section? Because, like I say, it does bore a lot of people. I understand that, but my thoughts were, I listened to a lot of the finance gurus, if you like, and Kieran Maguire turned around and said that it will not affect Newcastle one iota. They will still be the also-rans, the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, will still have a commercial outlay to a number. It doesn't matter what percentage you go to. And obviously we know the European market has had the threshold at 70% for a number of years now. Started at 85, the same as this is now for clubs that aren't in the Premier League European competitions. That are in the Premier League but not in European competitions. They'll be at 85%. But everybody else that is will have to comply with the European rules at 70. Now, obviously, when the European clubs got involved with this, it started at 85, and they've dropped it down year on year, so everybody gets a chance to comply with it. So English clubs now, the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa, are, at this present moment in time, breaching in one section, on the fringe of breaching in the other. So for us to go into, if this happens this week when it gets voted in, and I know Newcastle seems to be one club of a few that are in favour of it, they must have an answer to the breach that's already in situ. So before we get into what benefits Newcastle get out of it, if any, is there anything that you can enlighten us with it?
Well, there's two questions surrounding the new rules if they're introduced. As far as we're concerned, is how do they affect us? But as far as the Premier League's concerned, it's how do they affect the Premier League as an entity.
Yeah.
And I think the answer to both questions, well, I think potentially they could definitely benefit us, because we are in a very strong position right now to increase our commercial revenue. We've got several massive contracts that haven't been signed yet, training ground, training kit sponsors, big contracts that they will be. New ground naming rights. These are all huge. So that's potentially what we've got to come. The way Hopkinson set about doing his due diligence, and he's peddled Silverstone so he can see that we haven't been exploiting commercial partnerships sufficiently, is the way I would read that situation. So I think the new rules will definitely benefit us, because we will definitely be able to spend the minimum, the anchoring figure, which is what they're all going to be based upon. We will be able to spend to the maximum of that.
So up to 70%, yeah?
Because we're in Europe, it's 70%. So that's got actually nothing to do with the Premier League.
No.
For us to comply with UEFA, we've got to limit ourselves to 70%.
Yeah.
But even our 70% will still be sufficient to hit the ceiling on the 5.5 times media and prize money threshold, which they're talking about setting. So I think we are going to be better off with that. Do I think the Premier League's going to be better off? No, do I hell. Because right now the Premier League are in a wonderful position of being able to attract the best talent from all over the place, because continental teams can't afford it unless they've got super rich owners like PSG or whatever. They simply can't afford it. And there's no big money going in any of the other leagues. All the big money that's coming into football is coming into the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you're really risking shooting yourself in the foot. Now, on top of all of that, they've already been threatened before Friday's vote that if it is voted through, the PFA are going to challenge it in court.
Yeah.
Because it's a restriction of trade, you might say. And Man City and Man United are going to challenge it. Man United, with the revenue streams that they have got, They say, what's the point of making all this revenue if you can't spend it?
Yeah. But,
I mean, the owners will be saying, ooh, whoopee, because that means they are getting more money. They don't have to spend it. But as far as the Premier League is concerned, I think it's a stupid shot in the foot. And I don't think it's going to do any balancing up, because the lower teams will not be able to spend anywhere near 5.5 times the minimum anyway. Yeah. So for me,
put this on the screen just so people get obviously to understand it. And the reasons why Aston Villa and Chelsea are in black, if you have a look at the bottom, Aston Villa and Chelsea's football earnings resulted are expected to comply with the 24-25 targets per UEFA.
That could also be because they both sold their ladies' teams for hundreds of millions of pounds to each other. To themselves.
The third parties. I mean, listen, there's loopholes, and apparently, Newcastle are looking into all sorts. But, you can see here there's teams that are in red on both sides. I mean, feel sorry for the likes of Forest. They are, if they ever get into Europe again, if they go on to win it, they've got to do a lot of shuffling to get this sorted. The teams, obviously City, Liverpool are okay. Tottenham are okay. I mean, Arsenal, apart from squad cost, are okay. So there's a lot of teams. I mean, even Crystal Palace, as daft it look half decent. But when it comes to us, the headroom depends on Newcastle's reported football revenues, matchday broadcasting commercial, as you said, Champions League, Europe income, when applicable. If revenues stay high, European runs, commercial growth, Newcastle would have meaningful SCR capacity to fund wages and amortised transfer fees without breaching the ratio. If revenues dip, however, which I can't see them, SCR, which is the squad cost ratio, would tighten transfer flexibility. This alignment means Newcastle must catch recruitment ambitions to revenue growth rather than rely on owner funding alone. There is, like I say, there is obviously a little bit beyond that, because I don't know whether you guys have seen Geordie Boot Boys.
Have you seen anything at all, Gary, in connection with this? With the PSO, FFP carry on.
Yeah.
The allowance, the overspend allowance was 35 million a year.
35, yeah.
Over 3 years, rolling 3 years. And that goes back to whenever. Have you seen anything anywhere, because I haven't, to say that figure has been amended in the light of, shall we say, football inflation?
No.
In terms of player salaries and transfer fees since it was introduced?
Yeah, that's what they said. It's outdated because it's not actually followed inflation whatsoever. And we've seen. I mean, you look at last year alone. I mean,
are they abolishing it altogether?
It looks as though that's the idea. That's why they're bringing it to the table this week. It's because there's been such an outcry, and we've seen the legal wranglings behind with the Man City setup and everything else. And rightly or wrongly, this needed updating. The biggest problem for me is the fact that it will still only affect the clubs at the top that have got the commercial business. It will still mean that the likes of Newcastle, the lads in that second tier, all the teams in that second tier, will still have to do a hell of a lot of business. And when I say a lot of business, this isn't commercial business. This will be still business of selling your star players to still compete at the top of the table.
Developing a football factory.
Or developing a football factory, which we still years and years and years behind. And that is the problem. We are 10 to 15 years behind developing on the academy, where we can have that cash cow, if you like, and move players through that aren't going to get the highs of St James's Park on a regular basis. But for me, you're still not throwing a blanket over your star players will still have to be sold for us to compete in the league. Go on, Boaky.
Can I just try to put this into layman's terms, because to be a lot of I don't understand a lot of it, if I'm perfectly honest. I have tried to read through it, but it bores us. In regards to it, so basically, as a club, we can spend we can spend 70% of what we make. Is that right? On players,
yeah.
And basically, because we don't make as much as the top 6 clubs, that obviously sets us limits that they don't have, because we haven't got the same commercial revenues and the same
That's right.
sponsorship and things coming in. So basically, that means that anything that comes into the club, 70% of it can be spent on the playing staff and the
playing staff, wages, amortization, everything to do with players and with their players. Wages.
And agents and things like that.
And agents' fees.
Where does that 30% go? Does that then have to be profit for the club?
Yeah. It just goes into the
the running of the club. The running of the club, other than players and
stuff. So basically, what we're saying is, what we need to do is increase revenue, so that your 70% target gets higher. That then gets higher, and that's how you obviously develop as a club.
Yeah, but the difference with this, Boaky, is that let's assume which Man City are close on £1 billion a year now commercial revenue. So that would mean that Man City can comply with UEFA and the Premier League by spending 700 million a year. What the anchoring does is says you can only spend that 700 million a year if it is 5 times. So let's assume Southampton got 119 million when they went down. I think they were bottom, so everybody gets the same TV money virtually, apart from the individual game rights, which don't amount to a lot. But Southampton, who are the bottom club, got 119 million, and if they go to this 4.5 times 119, called 120, 4.5, 412s, 48, 60. The most, even though Man City could theoretically spend £700 million, they'll only be allowed to spend £540 million under the Premier League rules. Because what they could spend will exceed what they're allowed to spend by the what they could spend under UEFA rules exceeds what they could spend under Premier League rules. So that's why it could be a good thing for us, because it limits the amount that, the real big giants can spend.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the practical takeaways for Newcastle, sporting directors and fans, if you like, sporting directors should model multi-year revenue scenarios, including European participation, to set realistic transfer budgets under the CSR. And I think that should be something that they need to look at. And I think that's probably why they're looking further afield now. And you're seeing a lot of these younger talents, these wonder kids now, being looked into. And I think that is Ross Wilson's little baby. And I think that's probably the reasons why, if Newcastle have agreed to this new system, that is an area what they can go and dip into. It's not going to cost them millions and millions of pounds. And if they are likely to move on individuals and get a little bit money back, you're virtually looking, one in, one out situation as we speak. You've got to use flexible contracts though. And we talked about this yesterday when we talked about the 2-year loan has got to be, the 2-year contract has got to be a benchmark now for Newcastle to move forward with players. If Eddie Howe believes that these players can stay and take the club on to that next level, then great, offer them an extension. But if not, sell them where there's value, because that at the minute isn't working. And I think that is where we are breaching ourselves. It literally is a hole in the in the sink that you're just going to water's just going to go through it until you throw a plug in. you've got to think about your loan options. The loans aren't brilliant, and we've not really set any clauses within the loans. We know there's potentially players going to come back and be recalled from their loan agreements. There's got to be a loan to buy option as well. We've got to be better when we're coming to loan players into the club. And I think, we did it with Lewis Hall, so it can be done. And I think that is another area that Newcastle could potentially go and dip into and look at moving this CSR a bit further down the road. Yeah, we can call ourselves Chelsea, if you like, by kicking the can a bit further down the road. It will always come back and rebound to bite you. But as Wynn's already said, commercially, the business has improved twofold over the few financial years that we've been viable as a club again.
Threefold.
Threefold.
They're talking 400 mil plus next
exactly.
accounts.
Going to pick up a chat if that's okay, lads.
What's that?
Again, sorry?
Going to pick up a chat if that's all right from the. Just Jano was asking if there's no Chris tonight. Again, he'll be on after us 9:30. You will be directed to them. I think he's got Wynn and Roy on the night. And I don't know who else.
Hutch is on.
Hutch. So
from the Newcastle comparison.
Yeah.
So it should be a good show, so make sure you follow that after you've finished with this.
They'll be redirected as soon as we finish at 21:29-ish. We will be gone, just to give the lads a bit of time to set up and everything else. Going back to what we were talking about, though, so if you think about use flexible contracts, as I've said, performance add-ons will be referred to the big ups front fees. Young players with lower initial wages and resale upside become more attractive. And I think that's why you've got this, Keith Smith and the like that we are starting to be, heavily involved with. Players that have got some type of threshold that we can obviously reach at a later date. Manage the wage bill proactively. Renewals of agent fees and group need to protect SCR headroom. Communication matters. If SCR constrains signings, expect clubs to justify policy decisions by referencing long-term financial sustainability rather than short-term ambition. And again, I think the reasons why I've mentioned that is I think some of us have got to step off that pedestal and say it's an expectation. Under these new guidelines, you can forget expectations because there will be limits on what we can achieve unless we sell the stars. And if we sell the stars, are you going to get like for like with the money that you've got? And we've seen when the rat left, as much as Voltemade is a good player, it's a different setup. It's a different system involved. So there's going to be problems. Nothing ever comes smoothly. But you can land lucky and you can get players in for a lot less money that give you exactly the same threshold as you are now. You don't lose any ground, but you may not make any ground up. And again, as long as we're sustainable and we can reach Europe year in, year out and keep growing as a club, I think that is probably where Newcastle need to look at. So what's your guys' thoughts on what I've just said there regarding what could potentially be Newcastle's guide going forward?
The bottom line is, I don't think that the new rules are going to affect the cartel at all.
It won't.
I don't think it's going to affect them one little bit.
No. They'll just keep growing because their commercial business is way higher than ours. And that's why I said, unfortunately, we are probably going to have to start moving.
So the only thing, what I've been advocating for bloody years now, well, certainly since the takeover, is that, just don't allow loans if you want it.
Yeah.
Achieve sustainability of the clubs. Do not allow clubs to borrow money. They can only spend what they earn. And if anybody wants to put money into the club, they put it in, but they can't get it back out again.
Get it back out, exactly.
Do you not think part of it is as well we need to learn now that to do what other clubs have done? So the likes of Aston Villa and Chelsea, who sold the ladies' team for to boost their income, and the
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a...
Why isn't St. James... You could keep the St. James's name, but why isn't it something at St. James's, Stella at St. James's, something like that?
Well, I mean, like I said before we went in a bit deep, I mean, there's been a really good read-up, and this is the Geordie Boot Boys, if anybody wants to go and read in long term, if you like. And like I say, I'm going to give them a big shout-out because our little ticker at the bottom is from the Geordie Boot Boys. Lots of great up-to-date news comes from that little ticker that goes along the bottom of our screen. So big shout out to them. If you haven't already, go and have a look at them. They're a really good website to go and have a look at. Well, according to them, exciting plans for the new stadium are on hold in Newcastle United. It seems, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. St James's Park has been home of Newcastle for 133 years and doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon, according to these guys. PIF's plans for a new 1.2 billion stadium have got fans excited, even if the idea of leaving St James's Park is a bittersweet one. We initially expected some movement regarding the Cathedral on the Hill in 26, but it now seems like Euro 28 will keep the Magpies at their current home until 2030. Which, I mean, that looks a bit far away when you think we're only in 25, nearly in 26. So according to the finance expert Adam Williams, who suggested the fact that St James's Park will be heavily involved in the Euro 28, means Newcastle won't tamper with their current ground for the next few years, which I think makes common sense. Williams said the fact that St James's Park is hosting 5 matches the Euro 28 means that work isn't going to start at the stadium or presumably the proposed site at Lees's Park until the end of that tournament, which I think, hold on, do they know something that I don't? Given the footprint of the new stadium designed overlaps with St James's Park, it sounds like it would be too disruptive to have the building site and the functioning stadium in use for such a significant event simultaneously. That seems to be the mood music, at least. We're now not expecting any announcement about the stadium plan until at least next year. That also means that the club has at least 2.5 years to wait until they can break ground at a new site. Even thereafter, you're probably looking at 2 to 4 years to actually build the ground. So it's looking increasingly likely that we're going to have to enter the 2030s before the ribbon cutting ceremony. So when I read that, I'm thinking, obviously there's plans in the pipeline for this new stadium, because they said the blueprint is, when we said before, the back end is going to be in the Leesies, and then that then falls onto the front part that goes, well, obviously at the Leesies end now, it'll break into that area. So obviously that will bring in quite a bit of revenue, match day, for Newcastle. And obviously everything that is obviously involved in that, there's going to be lots of advertisements. So for me, I think that could be a little cash cow for Newcastle going forward. With all the advertisement, all the people coming from across Europe, across the European continent to come and visit Newcastle. So the economy in Newcastle should be vibrant during that time. Do you not think?
It is, but there's nothing to stop them digging before 2028.
Well, as you've just read there, that they don't want to make it look like a building site because people walk through Lees's Park, don't they? To come to the ground. So I know, wear wellies and a hard hat on the way in. That'll be you two, wouldn't it? With your clipboards asking. Yeah. Right then, team. I am done. Is it any final words from yourselves? We better say thank you to everybody that's donated.
Absolutely. Let's get those super chat done. Super Queenie for starters, with 10 gifted memberships from Queenie. And then Ronnie Omelette, Tony T in the Revenge of the Cut, Ronnie again, Darren Caesar, who's probably not going to hear this because he's at work, in Oz, in Melbourne. But if you are, thank you very much.
Indeed. So I want to say thank you to everybody.
Smash the likes if you haven't done already.
Absolutely. And like I say, sorry for that last little bit of boredom. But like I say, it's something that we need to address. And Thanks to my mates over there, Mighty Win and Boaky.
And over there, and there.
For their participation.
And how are you, the lads?
You will be redirected, so stay on board. I'll catch you on the next one, but it's ta-ra for now. And lads, lassies and bairns. Take care.